You're not a leader. You don't know shit about my culture. Get the fuck out. You don't know shit about Jay. Get the fuck out, Randy Acker. That's why all artists kick your fucking ass anyway.
June 2004, a boardroom in Manhattan. The air is so thick you can cut it with a knife. Two titans of industry, men who built an empire from the concrete of Marcy projects, are staring each other down. One is the greatest rapper alive, the other the most feared manager in hip-hop. They didn't just disagree, they decided to burn it all down. They were brothers in arms, the blueprint for modern hip-hop moguldom. And in this one meeting, they chose to dismantle everything they had forged in blood, sweat, and tears. How did two partners who built one of hip-hop's biggest empires become bitter, permanent enemies? This isn't just a story about money. It's a tragedy about ego, about the shifting sands of power, and about what happens when the very thing that makes you successful becomes the exact thing that destroys you. What secret conversation happened behind those closed doors that shattered a multi-million-dollar bond? You're watching Hip Hop History Vault. Today, we are unlocking the archive on the destruction of Roc-A-Fella Records. To understand the end, you have to witness the beginning. Mid-90s. The industry didn't want them. Major labels slammed their doors in their faces. Jay-Z had the lyrical genius, but he was just another name on a demo tape. Kareem Biggs Burke had the business instinct. And Damon Dash, Dame was the kinetic energy. He was the force that refused to be stopped. They realized a terrifying truth. They didn't need the industry to give them a seat at the table. They needed to buy the table. In 1995, Roc-A-Fella was born. It wasn't a company yet. It was a survival mechanism. It was trunk-to-trunk sales, relentless street promotion, and a bond that felt unbreakable. Their secret? They weren't just musicians. They were CEOs who happened to rap. They were building a brand while everyone else was just chasing a hit. But let's pause here. Think about this. Reasonable Doubt. It's widely considered one of the greatest hip-hop albums ever made, but at the time, it barely made a dent. Most labels would have dropped an artist after that kind of performance. But Jay, Dame, and Biggs, they didn't panic. They leaned in. They recognized that the market wasn't ready for them, so they had to create their own market.
You know, what you just have to understand is you have to learn how to promote your music, and the next thing black people have to do is learn how to distribute. You know, that's a bigger picture. You know, that's something that we haven't touched, and also on your master. But which we do. But which we do, no question. But that's basically it. You have to learn how to control your music and know how to market your music.
They were essentially creating the DIY model for independent music before the internet made it easy. They were out there, physical copy by physical copy, building a fan base that was fiercely loyal. But here's the first curiosity loop. The very intensity that pulled them out of the gutter is the same intensity that would later turn them against each other. When you build an empire on absolute loyalty, what happens when that loyalty is tested? What happens when the survival mindset, which worked perfectly when you had nothing, clashes with the corporate mindset, which is necessary when you have everything? By 1998, they owned the culture. Hard Knock Life didn't just sell albums, it created a lifestyle. And here, the dynamic shifted. Jay-Z became the global icon, the cool, collected mastermind. Dame Dash became the engine, the loud, confrontational visionary who demanded the world bow to Roc-A-Fella. It was the perfect ecosystem. Jay provided the art, Dame provided the volume. But empires grow, and with growth comes complexity. They expanded into clothing with Roc-A-Wear. They started looking into film. They were everywhere, and as the brand expanded, the definition of success began to split in two. Jay-Z began to see the world through a corporate lens, stability, legacy, control. Dame Dash saw it through a street hustler's lens, aggression, expansion, and never stopping. They were building the same company, but they were dreaming two completely different dreams. And that is where the cracks started to appear. Consider the management of artists. Dame was famous for his hands-on, often abrasive approach. He was in the studio. He was on the road. He was demanding results. Jay-Z, as he matured, started to look at the business through a more calculated long-term perspective. He wanted to minimize liability and maximize efficiency. Every time Dame made a bold move, whether it was pushing an artist, a fashion line, or a film, Jay-Z started to ask, is this sustainable? Is this protecting the brand? Or is this exposing us to unnecessary risk? And every time Jay-Z exercised caution, Dame started to ask, is he losing his edge? Is he getting too comfortable with the corporate suits he used to despise? This wasn't just a business disagreement. It was a fundamental clash of philosophies. And when your business partner is also your brother, when the business is the primary context for your entire life, this clash isn't just professional, it's personal. It's an attack on who you are and what you stand for. The tension peaked with the Def Jam deal. When Universal Music Group and Lyor Cohen came for Roc-A-Fella, the partners stood on opposite sides of a moral and professional chasm. For Jay-Z, becoming president of Def Jam wasn't just a job. It was the ultimate validation. It was the professional evolution from rapper to ruler. It was the security he craved. For Dame Dash, it felt like the ultimate betrayal. He felt that the empire they bled for was being sold out from under him. He believed that Roc-A-Fella was meant to be independent, a symbol of black ownership that would never answer to a major conglomerate. To Dame, Jay-Z wasn't getting a promotion, he was taking an exit strategy. The irony is crushing. They had succeeded so dramatically that they now had the power to disagree on how to govern their own success. Dame Dash claimed that Jay-Z wanted to dilute his shares. Jay-Z felt he was securing the company's future against Dame's reckless ambition. One man wanted to preserve the throne. The other wanted to keep conquering new ones. In the same company, at the same table, you cannot have two kings. Think about the psychological toll of this. Imagine building a dream with your best friend and then watching that friend become the boss of the machine you swore you would never be part of. That's the crux of the split. It wasn't just money, it was identity. Dame felt he was being left behind. He felt that Jay was choosing a corporate identity over the gritty, independent spirit that built Roc-A-Fella. Jay-Z, on the other hand, likely felt that Dame's inability to adapt, his constant need to fight and hustle, even when they had already won, was becoming a liability to the empire he wanted to build.
So if y'all want to talk about Jay, if there was an agenda, let's go through it.
No, we're gonna reschedule, man.
What the fuck you mean you're gonna reschedule?
We're gonna reschedule, man.
What you mean you're gonna reschedule? You get the fuck out. Look, y'all heard now that Roc-A-Fella said no one to go. You're not a leader. You don't know shit about my culture. Get the fuck out. You don't know shit about Jay. Get the fuck out, Randy Acker. That's why all artists kick your fucking ass anyway.
Excuse me?
That's why you stay getting punched in your face by other artists, not by Dame Dash, but other people, because you don't respect my culture. That's why. That's why you've been smacked. Not by me, by other people. Get out of here. Beat it. No one needs you. Get out. Clear a sample or something. That's what I need to know. You get your staff, get the fuck out.
It's all good.
Don't have no meetings.
No more.
Just like I thought. Just like I thought. Then when my staff comes, you'll cancel meetings. Just like I thought. What you mean bullshit? The fuck? Y'all niggas having meetings about my artists without calling me?
Get off the bullshit.
It ain't no bullshit.
Get off the bullshit.
They were no longer partners. They were obstacles to each other's vision. And when you are in a partnership, the moment you start viewing your partner as an obstacle, the partnership is already dead. 2004, the year the empire collapsed. It wasn't just a breakup, it was a public execution of a brotherhood. Lawsuits, counter lawsuits, public outbursts that shook the foundations of the hip-hop industry. They weren't just fighting over money anymore. They were fighting for the narrative. They were fighting for who held the moral high ground in a story that had no heroes left. The tragedy isn't that they failed. The tragedy is that they succeeded perfectly. They created an entity so powerful that it inevitably tore them apart. The ego required to build Roc-A-Fella was the exact same ego that demanded its destruction. They won the war, but they lost the rock. And the fallout wasn't just limited to the two of them, it infected the entire label. Artists and employees suddenly found themselves caught between two sides. The culture, which thrived on the idea of a united Roc-A-Fella, was suddenly fractured. The media loved it, of course. It was the ultimate hip-hop drama, but for those involved, it was a nightmare. It was the dismantling of a family. And this leads us to the most important question. Was there ever a moment where they could have turned back? Could they have created a structure that allowed for both Jay's vision and Dame's energy? Or is it simply a law of physics that when two forces this powerful collide, they must destroy each other? Today, Jay-Z stands as a billionaire titan, and Dame Dash continues his path as a defiant maverick. But the story of their split remains the ultimate lesson in hip-hop business history. Was the split inevitable? Could they have saved their bond if they had chosen brother over business? Drop your theories in the comments. I read every single one. What do you think was the breaking point? If you crave these deep dive stories, don't just watch, participate, hit that like button if you appreciate the truth behind the glamour, and subscribe to Hip Hop History Vault. We are digging into the archives every week, unlocking the stories the industry tried to bury.